Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to set up your RadioMaster boxer for the buddy cord system. That's where you link two radios together, so if you're training someone. So we're going to look at the instructor's radio and then we're going to look at the settings on the student's radio. So let's switch over to the radios and have a look to see how we set this up. Now let's first take a look at the student radio. All this has to be is a standard model. So I'm going to go into the settings. And the one thing we do need to do is to go to the bottom of our setup for our model, and then we need to choose slave jack. Now we've got master jack, which would be for the instructor's radio. Then we've got slave jack. We can use S bus and we can use CPPM, but we need to choose for the cable. We need to choose the slave. There we go. And everything else is going to be as a default model, just 4 channels. Let me just skip through everything, and it's all just default, so you can just make up a basic model. Now we escape here. Now I'm going to go into the system menu, and if we go across and we go into our radio setup, we have to make sure that both radios are set up to the same channel mapping. And in my case it's AETR, that's important. Then you see when we go into trainer on the student's radio, you can see it all just says slave, and that is everything. So now that would be our radio setup. Now let's take a look at the instructor's radio first. I'm going to go into the system menu first, and I'm going to go across. And we're going to have to make sure that we've got the same channel mapping on each radio, in this case AETR. Okay, there is the trainer screen. Now we're going to come back to that a bit later. We have options here, the colon equals. This means that the control is totally with the student. You can then set an option up where they cannot control, can't control the throttle, and then you can set up where you can both control the throttle. So that's the option. So the option I would normally use is this one. So we're going to come back to that, and that's everything that's come out. And now let's look at the model setup. So this aeroplane has been set up as normal, and then what we do is add to it these functions. So we're going to go to the bottom of the setup window, and you can see we've got mode there. And this is master jack, because we're using the jack on the radio itself, and it's the master, but we do have other options there. We can have slave. Now that would be the student. Then we can use master where we're using S bus, and we can use CPPM. But we're going to go back to the master jack one, and then go across, nothing in flight modes. All this will be your normal aeroplane settings. Then we come to special functions. You can see we need to set up a switch that allows us to give control to the student. So here I've picked switch SD in the back position. The option is trainer, and sticks. We can change this from channels to channels back to sticks. We'll choose sticks and we activate it. Then I've added a sound to it. So you see play track. So if I go, and every 10 seconds it will tell me that the trainer mode is on. Okay, and we should be good to go there. So let me return out of this. Okay, now I've plugged my radio in, but what I want to do is show you something. This is a standard 3.5mm stereo jack, and I found I needed this washer to get it to work with the radio. If it's pushed in too far, it won't work. So it's just something I wanted to point out in case you have that problem. But for me, if I use this, it's very reliable. I don't quite know what's going on there, but I need to put that spacer on. So what I'm going to do, I've turned the radio on, the Zero that I'm using, and I'm going to, it's set up for the student, and I'm going to plug in the. Now, if you heard that, you will hear it's recovered the signal. So now, if I'm flying my aeroplane, I'm flying the aeroplane, so I take off, and then I want the student to take over. All I have to do is flick this switch. Now I'm going to go to the Zero, and you're going to see the throttle's working, ailerons, elevator and rudder. So you can see that everything's working fine. But if I want to disconnect the student, I just do this, and you see now control comes back to me. Now let's just have a look at the system menu. We're going to go back till we come to here. Now you can see the settings are really good. 0, 0, minus 0.1 and 100%, because that's the throttle. So if we go back on and we put the throttle down, it's almost minus 100. So we don't need to change that multiplier there at all. But what we can do it by going down and then changing this. But we really don't need to. And I've never had to actually do that process. It's normally works. So you're looking for 0, 0, 100, 0. That's with the, with the throttle back. You're looking for 0, 0, minus 100 and 0. So that's accurate enough for our purposes. Well, thank you for watching this video, and if you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below, because I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Happy flying. Bye for now.